Imagine that your life is a grand masterpiece and that you are given a new canvas and a new brush each day. The question is what you will paint on it and what kind of story you will tell with your actions, your mindset, and your habits. The truth is that success is not built in a day, rather it is built daily. Now listen to me closely. There are 10 small habits that, if practiced consistently, will change your life forever. They will shape your character, fuel your ambitions, and transform determines your course ahead of the noise of you are enveloped by the day before external. As a result of pressures, you lose focus and momentarily define a specific objective for the day, not 10, not 5, but only one does not need to be grand, and it does not to be life-changing, but it must be deliberate. It could be something like simple as making an important decision, completing a long overdue task, or discovering something new about the power of. The goal lies in its size, not in its clarity. When you give your mind a specific, the purpose you give it is transformed from a life of passiveness into an active pursuit, makes you stop drifting. From reacting to responding to directing you, begin to shape your day, rather than letting it shape you, which is the secret to extraordinary success. It does not occur frequently in bursts of inspiration. It is not found in wishful believing that it is present in the stacking of scheduled days, one after the other. The individual who sets their goal for each morning is the individual who cuts their destiny. A vague wish never built an empire. A blurred vision never forged a legacy. Clarity did, and it will continue to do so. Put yourself in the mindset of gratitude. You must understand this. Your mindset determines your destiny. It is not luck, not circumstance, not even talent that shapes the course of your life as much as the way you think and act. One is the core of an unshakable mind. Practice gratitude in a simple but effective way. Most people wake up burdened. They dread. Their focus is on the challenges that lie ahead, on issues, what's not included, and what could go wrong. But this approach keeps them in a self-imposed prison, trapped in fear, doubt, and negativity. What they don't realize is that they possess the ability to change everything with one small habit, one that takes less than a moment, but rewires the brain to allow resilience. Every morning, in the face of chaos of the world, pulls you in 1,000 directions. Take a breath, pause, and list 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be extravagant. They can be as simple as the fact that you woke up today, the shelter you need, a conversation with a friend, an opportunity. Regardless of how small, gratitude isn't about ignoring challenges. It's about choosing to see what's already good. This shift in perspective is not just wishful thinking. It is power. When you focus on what you have, your mind, rather than what you lack, changes from a lack to an abundance, from restriction on possibilities. And an open mind, a person who sees possibilities, will always find way. It will see opportunities where others see difficulties. It will bring about solutions rather than justifications. Comprehend gratitude is more than just a feeling, is a discipline. It is a weapon against those who have doubt, fear, and anxiety. Cultivate it, are unshaken by hardship, because they have developed the mentality to look beyond setbacks to see what else is possible. Done instead of dwelling on what cannot. The strongest minds are not those who have never struggled. They are the ones who have mastered the art of perspective, and the foundation for that is gratitude. Mastery 3. Daily reading for 30 minutes. Every great mind has been forged in the knowledge crucible of the wisdom of the past, the insights of the present, and the future possibilities. These are the building blocks of intellectual and personal development. If you want to rise your thinking, to improve your ability to think in a force with power and clarity, you must become a student of wisdom. The world is filled with but few distractions as transformative as the pursuits. Simply reading a book can have a positive impact, alter the course of your entire life. A single thought or profound realization can eliminate outdated restrictions and open doors you never knew existed. Knowledge is not merely power, it is freedom. It frees you from lack of knowledge, stagnation, and the cycle of unchallenged thoughts that keep you or restricted to the same patterns. The same frustrations on each and every page in turn broadens your perspective and aids you see beyond the confined space of your current understanding. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and innovators all have one thing in common: an insatiable hunger for learning. They are aware that the mind, like the body, needs to be fed and exercised just as muscle strength increases with consistent training. The mind is sharpened by frequent exposure to new concepts, new ways of thinking, and so on of thinking. That discipline is the key. Daily commitment to reading, even if it is only a small investment for 30 minutes, with unimaginable benefits according to some. That true wisdom outshines books, is timeless. It is not about information, it's about depth rather than passing news. Feeds and content at the surface level bombard your mind with books that make noise, perseverance, engagement. And reflection. They challenge you to think critically, to question, to reflect. In a world that thrives on quick fixes and instant reading for pleasure is a form of rebellion is a conviction you hold dear. Determine the intention, the goal, and your mastery over depth rather than distraction, mediocrity. You're never far from a book. From a breakthrough, one well-placed insight can shift your mindset, transform your habits, and set you on a path to greatness. But that breakthrough will never come if you do not take the first step. Make the commitment. 30 minutes a day. Let that be the foundation upon which you build an unshakable mind. In time, you will look back and realize the greatest investment you ever made was in the power of your own mind. Number 4, take control of your inner dialogue. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, not by mere chance, nor by the whims of fortune, but by the supreme power of your thoughts. The mind is a fertile ground, but it is incredibly wealthy. Produces only what is planted within it. Plant seeds of doubt and fear, and you will harvest failure and despair. But so it contains the golden seeds of faith. The fruits of your life will outweigh your grandest imagination. Consider for a moment the man who tells himself, I am. His voice is weak. His shoulders are weak. Flinching, his very presence diminishes, need not be restrained by iron shackles, for he has already bound himself in the self-doubt's invisible chains. Hang, on the other hand, the man who declares, I am strong, I am capable, I shall overcome, walks with purpose, speaks with conviction, and acts with an unshakable confidence in one's ability to adapt to his will. The difference between the two men is not one of birth or fortune, it is a difference of thought. Pay close. Pay attention to your internal monologue. About within it lies the blueprint of your destiny, if you will. I cannot you set forth a command to your mind, and body will follow through. If you say, I am learning how you ignite the drive to improve oneself, is the spark that transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Don't mean that I'm bad. Enough to say that I am improving each and every day by day. This minor shift in language transforms not only your state of mind, but also your entire reality. Words are not mere sounds, they are forces. They are the mute architects who form the structure of your life. Every word you utter plants a seed in the garden of your subconscious. Speak of failure, and it shall bloom. Speak of greatness, and it shall bear fruit. The most successful men in history, those who have risen from obscurity to prominence, have mastered this secret. They've revealed existence, the lives they desired, long before they held them in their grasp. Let no man say that fate is cruel, for fate is but the servant of thought. Speak, think strategically, and act courageously. Unwavering faith, and the world shall shape it how you want it to. 5, accept discomfort every single day. Man is not meant for ease, but for conquest. History has not been written by those who sought comfort, and neither has success been won by the man who feared struggle. Comfort steals in the background. Ambition depresses the spirit, and every time you fall into complacency, you avoid discomfort by standing instead. If you continue to move backward, growth is the child of difficulty, and those who to achieve greatness, one must first master, accept the challenges that shape it. The most successful men in history, those who have emerged from the shadows to control the wealth and power of the industry. A characteristic in common: they do not flee. Instead of avoiding difficulty, they seek it. As a blacksmith, lean into discomfort. Leans into the fire, knowing that only through the resistance's heat can still keep you cool. They know that inactive repose does not bring about progress. But at the very limit of their ability to endure, you would establish yourself among such. You have to learn to endure men. Do something about what other people avoid every day. The uncomfortable: rise before the sun and seize control of the morning. Push yourself beyond fatigue, beyond convenience, beyond your expectations believed possible. Speak when your voice trembles, when you hear fear telling you to delay results in failure, when mediocrity offers safety. Each act of discomfort expands your limits, hardens your will, and bolsters your spirit. Comprehend this. The more you embrace discomfort, the more formidable you become. Each struggle conquered is a stone laid in the foundation of your success. Every courage in the face of hardship tightens your character. You are not intended for an easy life, but for a life of triumph. The world bows not to the man who seeks solace in the man who endures, persist, and conquer. So I say to you, resist simplicity and resist the temptation of stagnation. Is a welcome obstacle because your true self is within its embrace potential. The man who dares to suffer tomorrow will be ruled by today. 6. Master the art of focus. Success is not reserved for the fortunate, nor is failure is the fate of the disadvantaged, are the habitual offspring, the result of discipline or the lack of it. And in this there is no greater foe in the modern era than rather than a distraction. It is the stealer and silent killer of dreams, prevents men from achieving their goals, while ignore the fact that it does not strike with force, nor does it announce its arrival. Instead, it enters the mind, scattering attention, dulling ambition, and substituting idleness for progress. Indulgence, the world in which we live, constantly demands your attention. Endless necessitates minor distractions, designed to get your attention in 100 directions at once. But I'll tell you something. If you focus on this, you allow your mind to be drawn into distractions, you will water the seeds of mediocrity. But if you learn to direct your focus with precision, you will cultivate the harvest of greatness. A man, whoever is fixated on issues, will discover himself consumed by them, drowning in skepticism and hopelessness. But the man who trains his mind to see solutions will discover that there's a solution to every issue possibility. The decision is his, and it is yours. Master your focus, and you will master your destiny. Train your mind to single task. Disregard the call of the constant interruptions. Drain notifications, mute the insignificant, and set aside specific hours for deep, undisturbed work. Make a sacred practice of concentration that cannot be violated by the fleeting whims of the outside world. Are aware of this. The man in charge of his focus is in charge. His future distraction is the refuge of the lack of focus, the justification of uncommitted, but the man who commands his attention as a warrior commands his sword sharp, unwavering, and precise, will etch his name on the foundations of history. So I say to you, God, guard your concentrate like you would protect your wealth, because in fact it is worth much more. Not idleness, no matter how trivial, steals from you the destiny that is yours to assert. Train your mind, and follow the world, and thoughts will submit to strength of your unwavering focus. 7. Don't cultivate relentless discipline is the key to success. Neither is it paved with good intentions, nor founded on brief bursts of inspiration. It is constructed with the bricks of discipline. Unyielding, unbreakable, and essential discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. It is the force that separates those who dream from those who do. The man who he masters his discipline and destiny. Whoever does not have it becomes a slave to circumstance. Let me tell you a truth that few are willing to acknowledge. Feelings are not trustworthy. If you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. If you act, you won't do it unless it's convenient for you. Discipline is the only way to achieve nothing. Ability to perform the necessary actions, whether you think it is rising. When comfort tempts you before the sun, when others rest, it is working to sleep. Persevering when other people stop pushing ahead, when weak people make excuses. Discipline is a muscle, and like any muscle that gets stronger, with each use time you put action ahead of procrastination. Every time you show up, instead of surrendering to weakness, you strengthen your resolve. Each time you keep your promise to yourself that you cultivate trust. Your abilities are unwavering. Confidence that can't be just handed out, earned, and trust me, self-discipline is the one and only key to freedom. A man without discipline is bound by his distraction-controlled impulses, swayed by the current circumstances, but the disciplined individual he does not look for motivation, for he acts without requiring it. Regardless, and in doing so he gains influence over him. Destiny recognizes this talent's potential. Doors, but they can only be kept with discipline. Open ambition can kindle the flame, but only discipline will keep it burning. No man ever achieved greatness without first learning to master himself. So I say to you, train yourself as a warrior. Trains for battle strengthen. Your will harden your resolve. Choose discipline tomorrow, today, and every day after that, for when you make being disciplined a way of life, success becomes inevitable. 8. Surround yourself with high-value people. A man is not merely the product of his own actions and thoughts. He is the reflection of the people he worked with. Show me the company that surrounds him. You keep, and I'll demonstrate the trajectory of your life. For whether you are typical, whether you realize it or not, of the 5 people with whom you spend most of the time. Their routines become yours. Habits, their beliefs, shape your beliefs. Their standards define your own. If you should surround yourself with men who complain, you will soon find yourself steeped in excuses, drowning in the same mediocrity that holds them captive. If you are in a group of people who accept failure as their fate, who perceive difficulties as insurmountable, You will unconsciously adopt the same limitations, but if you seek out the company of pushers, boundaries who defy odds, who refuse to then accept anything but success, you too will rise to that standard. You will push harder. Think bigger and act with greater conviction. Choose wisely. Lie the people around you either propel you, either pull you back or forward. There is no influence and neutrality. Surround yourself with people who improve, people whose ideas you think differently. Anything less than your full potential, seek out mentors, men of wisdom, men who have walked the path you want to travel, and do conversations that stretch your intellect, that force you to expand your vision beyond the limits of your current comprehending. For comprehending this, the right environment will change you faster. A man will require more motivation than any other, not rely on fleeting inspiration when he is immersed in a culture of excellence. When there is greatness, there is mediocrity. Becomes intolerable when surrounded by the ambitious. Stagnation cannot occur. I say to you, choose your circle with take care and you'll be among giants. Learn to stand tall, align yourself with thinkers, doers, men of action, and you will become one yourself. If you wish to elevate your life, elevate your standards. For in the end, your future is not determined by chance. It is forged by the hands of those you allow into your world. 9. Take daily action towards your dream. Are nothing without action. More than just a fantasy or a whispered wish into the wind, lost before it ever takes form. Success does not come to the man who waits, nor does it favor the one who simply hopes that it will bow. Only to the man moves, someone who works and won't let a single day pass without progress. Dreams do not work unless you do. You cannot sit idly by and expect success to come knocking it. Will not. Fortune does not seek the passive. It rewards the every man who has ascended from obscurity to greatness by the sweat of his own effort. He did not wait for the perfect time. He did not wait for things to work out in his favor. He began where he was with what he had, and he took action. You must as well. Every day presents an opportunity to, no matter how insignificant the step forward, no matter how small the step, momentum is not built in a single act of greatness, but in the quiet consistency of daily effort. A man who moves forward even by an inch is miles ahead of the one who stands still. Start now. Do something today that brings you closer to your goal. Do not be deceived by the illusion that great achievements occur instantly. They are the result of small, disciplined actions compounded over time. The writer who pens a single page each day will one day hold a book. The man whose progress is made by just 1% daily will find himself transformed beyond recognition in a year's time. This is the law of effort. It is unavoidable, incontestable, and infallible. Those who follow it rise above those who oppose it. I warn you, descend into mediocrity. Take action, not tomorrow, not next week, today, now. For the man who moves today is the man who will rule in the future. Who waits, he will spend his life watching others achieve what he wants. Only dream 10 end each day with differences in reflection and refinement. Between the growing man and the man who remains stagnant is not found in talent, luck, or even effort. Only it is the world changes when we reflect. Quickly crowded with men sprinting from one day to the next without a break to consider, what have I learned? However, the man who gives each night to measure him by looking inside, progress to evaluate his actions and search for his advancement, propels him to new heights. Of those who simply drift before you take a moment to close your eyes at night and think back and ask yourself, what did I do? Well, where did I fail today and how can I be better tomorrow? For success is not a question of perfection. It is a question of learning to change and get stronger. The man who is afraid gets worse with each day. Errors will never be corrected, but the man who learns from them will turning setbacks into opportunities and obstacles into opportunities. Each day is a lesson in patience that some will teach you, some will test your discipline. Others will reveal weaknesses you had not yet seen. But all of them, if examined with honesty, will leave you wiser than before the greatest men in history. Those who shaped industries, led nations, and built, although there were flaws in legacies, they comprehended this fact, the fundamental ingredient of mastery. They did not blindly repeat the same errors they studied. Themselves, as a craftsman examines his production techniques for making adjustments and improving constantly. And so must you each evening take some time to reflect on the day behind you. If you must, write it down. Celebrate what you did well. Acknowledge where you failed, not out of regret, but with a focus on the man who seeks improvement daily will rise far above the person who gets by in life without awareness. So I urge you not to permit single day pass without learning from it. The man who grows and changes through reflection is the man who will master his future. Those who don't look within themselves will always be ruled by forces that they do not comprehend, whereas those who study themselves will hold the key to their own evolution. And ultimately, the difference between those who succeed and those who merely exist. Now listen carefully. These 10 habits are small, but they are having an unimaginable impact. The foundation of an intelligent mind, a strong character with discipline in life. The question is, will you implement them? Will you commit to the small daily actions that lead to greatness? That you have the option. And if you choose wisely, you won't regret it in the future. Habit that you will begin today, because the life you want is already here, is waiting for you to take action, and action, my friend, is always within your control.